Attention musicians, if you're starting a band or just starting a solo act on your own, go to a place on the internet where you can get equipment at great prices. HelloMusic.com. They have guitars, amps, mixers, and microphones, some at great low prices. Log on today and look at the equipment and the prices. www.hellomusic.com. Like them on Facebook for chances to win guitars, mics, and other band equipment. Remember the name, Hello Music. The mainstream media is not telling you the truth. They have their own agenda. At GJRB, I have mine, telling you what's really going on with sources like End Time Headlines, InfoWars, Coast to Coast AM, and most importantly, CBN News, keeping you on top of what's happening at the top and bottom of each hour during the Gary Wrestling program. I'll give you the news and analysis of what I think with Gary J's News and Comment. Get the real news. True news. News that's not in the mainstream. On GJRB.
If you're a new emerging artist and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation was ideally devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music. Check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online is up and coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
You hear great jazz on GJRB with the best of jazz, up-and-coming jazz, smooth jazz, and smooth afternoon. If you can't get enough of jazz and you live in the Quad Cities area, tune to KALA, Stadium Base University in Davenport, Iowa, at 88.5 on the FM dial. Along with some of that great smooth jazz, you'll hear a lot of great jazz programming, and programming in other great music formats, like blues, urban, including rap, also classic R&B and Motown with David Baker on Rewind, Friday nights at 6 p.m. Central. In addition, you get programming in Spanish and some great gospel programming too. For more information on that great programming you'll hear, check out their schedule at www.sau.edu/KALA. If you do live in the Quad Cities area, you can enjoy KALA anywhere in the world with their internet stream. Connect with KALA. Listen and enjoy.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
America's True Music is back on GJRB, Bluegrass with the Grasskulls, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, and so much more. It's been since November, so it's time to bring it back. And on more often, it's Bluegrass Jubilee Freestyle, with all the great songs you heard before, and some new up-and-coming stars with some emerging bluegrass. Also, some all-time gospel favorites too. Bluegrass Jubilee, Saturday, June 13th at 2 o'clock. Brought to you by Bolton's Bluegrass Festival, held Saturday, June 20th at Heritage Canyon. Bluegrass Jubilee on GJRB.
All right, we're back. Sportspage on a Saturday afternoon here on GJRB Online, and glad you can be back with me. And we're doing our Saturday thing here on GJRB Online every other Saturday, alternating Saturdays, aside from other specialty shows that I do. I do what I call Sportspage. And it's kind of fun to do a lot of things, talk about all kinds of things in the sports world. some that are going on currently, and some that are not. Some that have already played, and that's how I do it. And it's a chance for all you out there to enjoy some great sports talk, and get a chance to join in on the fun. Garyj Sportspage here on GJRB on a Saturday afternoon, and that's what we're doing today. So I'm glad you could be here. Got a lot of stuff going on, so we're going to get into it and get into the nitty-gritty of things on our sports page this afternoon. First off, we're going to talk about Adrian Peterson. He went back to the Minnesota Vikings after he was called back. He didn't play football this fall. Adrian Peterson will report to the football camp. He has already been saying the running back for that team. He had a news conference at the team's NFL football headquarters on Tuesday, June 2nd. And he was talking, this was at Eden Prairie, Minnesota. And it took part after a voluntary practice. And Peter missed like 15 games in the last season while addressing this child abuse issue in Texas. Had a charge against him. Either the Minnesota Vikings and running back Adrian Peterson have truly mended fences, or at least able to put themselves together and be happy on Tuesday. Peterson will report for practice, OTA practice, on Tuesday after staying away during the time when he was accused of beating his child with a switch, hitting him with a switch. The child suffered some injuries. Okay. Child suffered some injuries, but he hit him with a switch. And as the story goes here, that immediate reports that Peterson wasn't all very happy with the organization after that move. Wasn't too pleased with it. Many reports say now he wouldn't have that on Tuesday. He was talking with Coach Mike Zimmer, and he gave him a news conference. And they talked about this, and basically talked about how Adrian Peterson, now, like I said at the beginning of the show, Adrian Peterson did indeed beat his child with a switch. And the kid did have some injuries. Okay? Did have some injuries. He kind of went a little overboard. And that was the reason why the NFL cut him loose for a while. Because he had beat his child with a switch. And so what deems to be a move on his part, there's a lot of people supporting him. I was reading some comments last night and the night before that for show prep for this program. Real nice story told by this guy named Bear Claw. He says him and his wife are at a Walmart. A young boy, along about 7 or 8, cut in line with his wife in a mobile cart. His wife remarked to him that it was not nice to do that. The boy gave my wife this very obscene gesture. And while the mother had seen that whole thing, she smiled, saying nothing. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And the Bear Claw goes on to say, it goes on to quote in this writing, I doubt the boy knows no discipline, or that the manner of the parents either. And we're talking about sports figures here. But human beings, we are seeing a society of spoiled brats. And boy, he hit that right on the head. People need to understand that children have to see the difference between right and wrong. The Bible speaks of sons listening to the discipline of their father. That means verbal discipline and understanding accountability of wrong actions. And it also says don't spare the rod either. Just don't beat the kid to a pulp and, don't beat the kid to the ground. Requires balance on the part of the parent. Part of the old timers would have their discipline. Yes, that's still around. They survived their spankings, by the way. Then he states, I'm 76 years old, never been arrested, never been in jail, but my father impressed upon me the difference between right and wrong. There you go. And like I said earlier, yes, he went overboard. Peterson went overboard. I'll say that. But on the other hand, it was discipline. Something that some kids need nowadays. It's a discipline thing. Not enough of it. And, maybe the NFL is none of the NFL's business. He shouldn't have went so far. But he disciplined his kid. He wasn't afraid to teach his boy right from wrong. It was just how he went about doing it. It's how he went about doing it that the nation is making a big deal out of it. Okay? It's not so much the child abuse. It's the fact that he paddled his son for doing something wrong, whatever it was. So what do you think of that? Send me my message. Get it on the chat rooms. GaryJ65@yahoo.com. If you want to do an email, good day too. Do that. But I'm going to be going into my... I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to... let's see here. I want to dump into my... Let's go down to... see if we can do a search through the... scroll through our social media and see what people are saying on board today on Gary J's Sports Page. Okay? And I'm going to... let's see here. Here we go. All right. All right. That's about 1 or 2 seconds. Here we go. Okay. And let's do let's scroll through social media. All right, let's do that right now. I'll scroll through social media here on Gary J's Sports Page on GJRB. And we're starting with Facebook. And by the way, I was just getting off that break on the last break that I did. And I am getting live listeners on my show today. Live listeners out there. I know you're listening live. So if you want to join in on this, I'm talking about Adrian Peterson. So I have one already on. So if you're out there, hello. Welcome to the Gary J Sports Page. Can't take phone number. I'm not taking the phone calls today. No phone calls. My wife and I share one cell phone, and she's got it, so no phone calls. But the chat rooms are available right here on GJRB. So just drop in and say hello. I'm going into my Twitter too as well. I'm going to hit that here real quick. Let's see, I'm going to go here and here. Duplicate that later on so I can get into Twitter faster. Okay, I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to put this